Your brain is a dump, and someone else is collecting rent. Not a metaphor, not an exaggeration, just reality. We are living in the most overstimulated, attention-fragmented, mind-numbing era in human history. Not because of a war, not because of a pandemic, but because of something far more invisible and far more dangerous: mental pollution. Your thoughts are no longer your own. Your emotions, hijacked. Your attention, sold to the highest bidder. And the worst part? You've probably gotten used to it. Every day you're bombarded with noise, not just external, but internal. Notifications, hot takes, memes, news, more news, scroll, laugh, rage, forget, repeat. And while it all feels normal, even harmless, your brain is silently drowning, not from lack of information, but from too much of the wrong kind. Carl Jung once warned that when a society stops thinking, it doesn't stop functioning. It just starts decaying from within. And that's what we're living through right now. A slow collective collapse of consciousness, dressed up as freedom, expression, and culture. Surface is rewarded, depth is ignored, noise wins, silence dies. What used to be considered wisdom now feels boring. What once required thought now must be instant. Thinking has become offensive. Reflection is called overthinking. Contemplation, uncool. We don't listen, we react. We don't live, we consume. This is not just a cultural shift, it's a neurological one. You're being trained, not taught, conditioned, not educated, trained to crave stimulation, trained to fear boredom, trained to reject anything that requires patience, nuance, or discomfort. And the algorithms, they know this, they feed this, because a scattered mind is a profitable one. So the system rewards your fragmentation. It keeps you busy, entertained, agitated, but never still, never clear, never truly conscious. And here's the terrifying truth: most people will never notice. They'll drown in distraction and call it life. But if you feel it, that subtle resistance, that ache, that whisper in the back of your skull saying, "This isn't right," you're not broken, you're not weak, you're still awake. And in this era, that makes you a threat. You ever wonder why silence feels so uncomfortable now? Why the moment your phone dies, or the music stops, or you're left alone with your own thoughts, you feel anxious? That's not just personality, that's not just boredom. That's withdrawal. Your mind has been trained to reject stillness, to flinch at reflection, to panic in the presence of nothing. Because nothing is where the truth shows up. And we live in a world where truth has been buried under an avalanche of distractions. Noise isn't just around you, it's in you. The speed, the scrolling, the constant need for novelty, it's rewired your brain. Studies now show that dopamine levels in modern smartphone users mirror those of people with clinical addiction. Short-form videos, instant likes, endless reels. It's not just entertainment, it's engineering. You're not watching the feed is watching you, measuring your reactions, shaping your tastes, feeding your triggers, training your brain to need constant input and fear anything deeper. And over time, this doesn't just affect how you feel, it affects who you become. Because when your brain is constantly distracted, you lose the ability to go inward, to question, to doubt, to break out of the narratives you were sold. This is why critical thinking has become a rare skill, why nuance sounds threatening, why emotional depth feels too heavy. Because this culture doesn't want you wise, it wants you manageable. And what better way to manage a population than by overstimulating it into numbness? We've traded introspection for input, wisdom for trends, meaning for memes. And most terrifying of all, we've started to enjoy it. We laugh at nonsense. We celebrate ignorance. We mock those who ask real questions and applaud those who give easy answers. The decline isn't loud, it's quiet, internal, cultural rot, dressed in bright colors and catchy music. This is the age of mental junk food, see, and we're addicted to the taste. But if you've made it this far, you already know something's wrong. You feel the weight of a mind that was never meant to carry this much noise. You feel the sickness in your attention, the ache in your soul, the quiet grief of a brain being wasted, and somewhere inside, you know, this is not what you were made for. Modern stupidity isn't loud, it's algorithmic. It's not the village fool shouting nonsense. It's the trending page, it's the viral post, it's the echo chamber where ignorance becomes confidence and curiosity becomes weakness. We are living in a culture that rewards shallowness and punishes depth. If it's fast, it wins. If it's complicated, skip it. If it's reflective, yawn. And the scariest part, most people aren't resisting it. They're enjoying it. They laugh at their own collapse. They scroll through their own decay. They celebrate it because it's easier than changing. This is not freedom. This is not authenticity. This is not culture. This is sedation. A generation sedated by convenience, comfort, and digital applause. Numbed by screens, pacified by dopamine, taught to fear discomfort, effort, silence, and so they call filth expression. They call confusion identity. They call collapse progress, but Carl Jung warned us, when an inner situation is not made conscious, it appears outside as fate. And this is exactly what's happening. The inner decay, the lack of awareness, the fear of self, the addiction to noise is manifesting as cultural entropy. We don't think anymore. We mimic. We don't engage. We consume. We don't evolve. We repeat, and then we wonder why everything feels hollow. This is not just personal suffering, it's civilizational. Because when the mind rots, so does everything it touches. Education becomes entertainment. Politics becomes theater. Art becomes algorithm. People stop asking, is this true? And start asking, did it get views? Even language is dissolving. We speak in fragments, we text in acronyms, we reply in GIFs. Communication has become signaling, not meaning, not connection, just posturing. This is how cultures die, not with a bomb, but with 1 billion people scrolling, laughing, and posting their way into irrelevance. And the cost isn't just intelligence, it's the soul. Because once your attention is hijacked, your identity follows, your relationships erode, your creativity dries up, your sense of purpose shrinks. Until you forget what it feels like to be fully alive. But if you feel that loss, if something in you aches for clarity, stillness, sanity, you're not crazy, you're remembering what it means to be a human being, not a user. You ever ask yourself, who benefits from your numbness? Because make no mistake, someone does. Someone profits every time you scroll instead of think, every time you argue instead of understand, every time you distract yourself instead of confront yourself. The system doesn't want you conscious, it wants you busy, overstimulated, exhausted, so you won't have the energy to rebel, to ask better questions, to choose a different life. They don't need to censor you if they can drown you in irrelevance. And that's exactly what's happening. You're not just a consumer, you're the product. Your attention is being sold, your habits are being shaped, your very sense of identity, curated by algorithms designed to manipulate, not inform. This is not a conspiracy, it's a business model. And it works because you stopped noticing. Because when everything becomes content, nothing feels sacred. When everything's entertainment, nothing feels serious. And when nothing feels serious, you stop taking yourself seriously. You laugh away your anxiety. You meme your trauma. You turn existential despair into TikToks and trends. And while you joke about losing it, you're actually losing it. Piece by piece, scroll by scroll. And that's not your fault. But it is your responsibility. Because no one's coming to save your mind. No app, no guru, no quote on a pretty background. It's you. It's whether you can choose silence over noise, discomfort over distraction, truth over popularity. And that's hard, because this system is built on ease. But Carl Jung said it best. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. And right now, absurdity is everywhere. Look around. People screaming for validation, fighting battles that aren't theirs, adopting beliefs they've never questioned, burning out for likes, screaming for attention, and calling it expression. But under all of it is fear, the fear of being nothing without the noise, the fear that silence will reveal the truth, that we are empty and have no idea who we really are. But you still have a chance. Because you're here, still watching, still thinking. And that already puts you in the minority. You don't need more content, you need more clarity, more stillness, more inner gravity, because in a world designed to fragment you, your wholeness is an act of defiance. But make no mistake, it will cost you. It will cost you comfort. It will cost you easy belonging. It will cost you the illusion that everything's fine. Because once you wake up, you can't go back. You'll see the addiction in your scroll, the emptiness in your feeds, the way your mind flinches from silence. You'll see people laughing at nonsense and feel nothing. You'll watch the world applaud its own collapse and wonder how they don't feel it. And worst of all, you'll feel alone. But that loneliness, it's sacred. It means you're no longer plugged in, no longer sedated, no longer part of the passive crowd that calls decay culture. And from that place, you can start to rebuild, not with noise, not with rebellion for the sake of rebellion, but with truth, with attention that isn't hijacked, with presence that isn't outsourced, with thinking that isn't borrowed. This isn't about becoming perfect, it's about becoming real. Because you're not broken, you're just buried, under noise, under labels, under a system that profits from your confusion. But your mind, it's still yours. And if you can take it back, if you can choose stillness over stimulation, awareness over automation, you become dangerous, not to others, but to the machine. Because the moment you remember who you are, the machine loses. It can't sell you shame. It can't bait you with nonsense. It can't trap you in false desires. You become undistracted. And in today's world, that's the most powerful thing you can be. So stop scrolling, start seeing, stop consuming, start remembering. Your mind is not a landfill. It's not a playground for algorithms, not a dumping ground for content you didn't ask for. It's your last sacred space, and it's time to take it back.